All right, testing.
Hi, welcome to Good Life Road. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Derek.
And in this video, we're going to share with you our first impressions of the beautiful mountain town of Takayama in Japan. It's located just a few short hours from Tokyo.
You won't believe you haven't heard of this town before.
So if you're planning a trip to Japan or just love finding new places to explore, this video is for you.
We're a semi-retired couple in our 50s who sold all of our things in 2024 to travel the world full-time.
And this is Good Life Road.
We went to Takayama after being in Tokyo for a month. And so we're going to share with you the route we took to get there, which is likely the route most people will take also. So to get to Takayama from Tokyo, you're going to need to take 2 trains. So here are the 2 most common routes.
So in Tokyo, the 2 stations that go to Takayama or get you as close as you can get to Takayama are the Shingawa station and the Tokyo station. From either of those stations, you can take the Shinkansen, the bullet train, and that will take you all the way to the Nagoya station.
So this was our first ever bullet train ride, and it was truly exciting. And no trip to Japan is complete without a bullet train ride. And remember, you can pack some snacks and stuff for the ride, which we did, and it was really comfortable and handy.
Yeah. So the Nagoya station is as close as you can get to Takayama because it's this little mountain, Edo period mountain town. So from the Nagoya station, you're going to take a local train.
The entire train ride from Tokyo takes 4.5 to 5 hours, including both of the legs of the trains.
And we highly recommend that you buy your Shinkansen tickets before the day of your trip because we made that mistake once ourselves and they can get sold out. It's just much more hectic to do it that day.
Yeah, and another lesson we learned along the way on an earlier train ride was that be sure when you're buying your ticket, you make sure that your tickets give you enough time between the 2 trains. Because it's not intuitive to get through some of those little stops where you have to slide your tickets into the machine to get to the other side. Also it's a little tricky finding out which train track your train is going to be coming in on looking at the screen. So ensure you have that little gap in between your trains.
Yeah, so if you normally get to the station 10 minutes early, get to the station 25 minutes early because with the Shinkansen, the stop is very brief and you have to get into a specific car. And so you want to have time to line yourself up because the stop is super brief.
Yeah.
So you're in for a real treat here. We stayed at the Amanek Hotel, which is a mid-price range hotel for Takayama, and we highly recommend it. We're not sponsored by them, but it was fabulous.
Yeah, and one of the highlights of the hotel was the onsen on the top floor. We were lucky to have a room on the top floor, so it was like we had our own little private sauna spa scene. And it's got a hot plunge in the middle, and it's also got an amazing view out over the city and then the snow-capped mountains all around.
Yeah, and then if you prefer, they also have separate onsen facilities for men, and then they have a women's side too. So if you'd rather be a little bit more discreet that way, that's possible too.
Yeah. Right next to the hot pool is a cold plunge.
And I'd never done a cold plunge before, and I didn't even really think I was interested. But we loved it. We found it so invigorating going back and forth between the hot and the cold.
Yeah. Now, I've swam in a lot of cold water in my days, but this was my first official cold plunge too, and it was super exciting.
Yeah, I consider Derek already like a regular cold plunger.
A natural cold plunge.
Yeah, a seal.
So we loved it so much, we used the onsen every day before breakfast, and this was the perfect time of day because there were only 1 or 2 other people in it at that time.
Yeah, it was never busy. And then afterwards, we would go downstairs. They also gave us those cool little outfits.
Oh, yeah.
They gave us these really nice, Japanese outfits, far nicer than your typical, even, hotel robe. You have this little Japanese outfit, and we would go on down to the breakfast buffet, which is included with your room. And it was a really nice breakfast buffet. And the hotel, oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say she would wear her outfit down there, and she wasn't the only one. It was neat to see others.
Many people did, because you kind of had this spa vibe going on. And then without the prices of a spa for a typical spa. And then also in the afternoon, they had the free tea and sake.
With all those benefits, the hotel was only about $125 a night USD.
Incredible.
It was an amazing deal. And so we're going to put a link in the description if you'd like to check it out. Our favorite way to get around is walking.
And our hotel was great on that front too. It was a short walk from the historic downtown, and there's all these little interesting streets to wander around.
And one thing Takayama is famous for is this beautiful mountain town has very historic Edo period architecture, all these wooden buildings and stuff.
Yeah, but be aware that the area, that historic downtown, can get really busy with tourists. We were there during Sakura, so of course that's going to be the height of busyness. But because of that, we would just go out in the morning if we were going to go to the historic part, or go out later in the evening, like maybe during dinner time, so that people are tucked away then and it wasn't too busy. But just take that into account. If you're not there during Sakura, it probably won't be that bad.
So some of our favorite walks were along the Miyagawa River, and then also over to that east side of town. There's a lot of little green spaces with parks. So it's nice to just walk up some of the little windy roads that go up into the hills. And there's trailheads that take you into a number of parks up there that are just beautiful.
As long as you stay somewhat near the center of town, Takayama's easy to get around on foot.
Yeah, and if you ever do find you need a ride back to your hotel, you did a lot of walking one direction or something, there's an app that you can get called Go that's good for hailing taxi rides. So it's a good option.
Yeah, and it's just like Grab or Uber. It works just the same.
Yeah. So we think there's definitely enough to do in Takayama for a stay between 3 and 7 days. Some of the highlights that we found were some of the shrines. The Matsuri shrine is one of the more kind of traffic shrines, but even when we were there during the busy season, it wasn't nearly as busy as some of the big shrines we saw in the other cities.
Oh gosh, no.
And it's neat because it's along the edge of the forest, so there's some stairs that go up into the hills with these beautiful big trees and stuff. And then we came upon, just through walking, another shrine that's almost completely off the map. We'll put it on the screen here for you. And it's like a mini version of the one I just talked about. It's got this stairway that goes up into the forest, and it's really quaint and beautiful up there. So definitely worth exploring some of those edges because there is a lot of off the beaten path stuff. Takayama has a fairly compact downtown area, but there were plenty of choices for meals.
Yeah, on the first night, and then again another night, we ate at this little restaurant called Butcher's, and they specialize there in Hida beef, which a lot of the restaurants do.
Yeah, Hida beef it's a brand of Wagyu beef, and it's raised locally near Takayama, and it regularly wins awards for the best beef in Japan.
Yeah, they're very proud of it.
Mm-hmm. Another popular dish in Takayama is okonomiyaki.
Yes, it's bring your cash, but it's very affordable. You want to go to this old school restaurant called Koma Restaurant. It is such a fun vibe. When we were there, it was just two little ladies cooking, and the food was delicious, and
it was a really fun experience.
Filling and tasty, and just cozy vibe.
Yeah. One evening when it was raining, we were heading over to a really neat izakaya place, and but it filled up early. We think it was because of the rain, but we got to go inside, and it had these low, sitting on the floor table scene. It
looked really cool and really cozy.
Yeah,
but we couldn't get in.
Yeah, and they were asking us to queue up outside in the rain, so of course.
Yeah, so that didn't work out. But the place we went for ramen well made up for it because it had the richest broth. It was the char siu pork, and also a really cozy vibe and really fun.
It was wonderful. Yeah. There's also this cute little shop with prepared food for when you feel like a picnic or just hanging in the room for a movie.
Yeah, and that's something we definitely like to do.
Yeah. And then there was the cutest little quirky ice cream shop.
Yeah, this place was so cute. And all the food we ate in Takayama, we found the prices really reasonable, except we will say that a lot of the restaurants do specialize in the Hida beef. There's almost always different dishes that are options if you don't want to just go for a straight steak. Sure, definitely treat yourself, but just know that the Hida beef dishes do tend to be expensive.
Yeah. So Takayama is a mountain town, and so it does snow a lot in the winter. So spring and fall are prime times to be there, and I think it's pretty nice in the summer as well.
Yeah, it's very beautiful in the spring and the fall. And you heard we were there in the spring, and it does get some rain, but not too much. And sunny blue skies, usually like a sweatshirt, light sweater kind of weather. Yeah, so it's just like a normal mountain town. It's like if you want snow, winter, otherwise spring and fall are lovely because they're spring there isn't shoulder season, but
Yeah.
and then summer's probably gorgeous too.
Yeah.
Overall, first impressions. Here's what we thought. You go first.
Okay, so I am very happy that, we were planning on hiking on the Nakasendo Trail when we were in Japan, but we had some conflict with some of my contracting work. And so
You had to have good Wi-Fi.
I had a good connection. So we found this amazing hotel in the mountains that we talked about earlier and in Takayama. And I'm so happy we found Takayama. It was a real treat for us, I think. We really wanted to get to the mountains. This is an easy way to do it. Train ride all the way up to this town.
And most people who go to Japan go, to the top three, which are Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, understandably. But this is a kind of neat, and this is, like Derek said, how we ended up finding it is because we couldn't be on the Nakasendo. So it was a great option because it wasn't that far from Tokyo. It was a chance to take the bullet train and just lovely.
Yeah, it was special. And the people are super friendly. The prices were very reasonable, like we talk about. And it's just a nice little dose of nature between all the big cities that we visited while we were there.
Yeah. I particularly loved walking along the river there and seeing some of the birds. Like there were beautiful birds there.
And those big fish in the river.
And
they look like
huge
giant koi fish.
I don't know what's going on with the koi in the river. Like if people are putting the koi in the river. I don't know. Anyway, the koi are magnificent. They're huge and they're just swimming where you can just look down from a bridge and see them.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah, and the shrines were awesome. So it's a great getaway. And not to downplay at all the onsen portion. Like it was so relaxing and just a real treat, but not a break the bank treat.
Yeah.
Because we're on a budget too, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you like this video and you feel like you got some value out of it, please give it a like.
And subscribe, follow along. We'd love to have you, and we hope you liked it. Let us know what you think. Let us know where else we should go next time we're in Tokyo. We'd love to hear any recommendations, or not next time we're in Japan. We're going to Tokyo.
Yeah. And if
But
you
next
have
time we're
any
in
questions, leave those in the comments as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.